So welcome to all. Thank you for being here. So it's a pleasure to have you here in this session. I'm Domenico Vito. I'm Vice President of the Rotary Club of Social Entrepreneur. It's for me is an honor and a pleasure to introduce this session that has the goal to have a brief, we can say, report and also sharing of experience on what happened during COP30. During COP30, Rotary has been strongly present. Now I will give the floor to our guest speaker to introduce a little bit more the engagement of Rotary into this COP was a very important moment and also the starting of, we say, several initiatives that for Rotary can and could be important also to develop also as Rotarian to embrace the Rotarian values also in the field of environment. And properly talking about the field of environment, I want to give the floor to Alberto Palombo from the Rotary Club of Brasilia, but as well member of the board of director of ESRAC, the Environmental and Sustainability Rotary Action Group. Alberto, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you here with us. Without further ado, I will give you the floor to introduce yourself and also frame a little bit the engagement of Rotary in COP30 and in COP process in general. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ciao, Domenico. Kelly, good to see you again. It is always an honor to be with you in this club of social entrepreneurs. Yes, as Domenico mentioned, I like to make my proper Rotary presentation. My name is Alberto Palombo. I am a charter member of the Rotary Club of Brazil International. My classification in Rotary is industrial and systems engineer, water resources management. And currently I'm serving the club as the Rotary Foundation chair. And in my Rotary District 4530, I am assistant governor. And in Rotary International, serving in the cadre of technical advisors, where I'm currently serving all of you as a technical coordinator for environment, and also in the team of WASH and community and economic development. And more specifically in ESRAC, I've been given the opportunity, and it has been an honor to be among many good Rotarians and Rotaractors heading this COP30 committee that was indicated by the President-elect Mario Cesar Martins de Camargo last year. So I also want to welcome Judith Dimmet, who is my partner, not in crime, my partner in good causes of the COP process. She's a good friend that is serving also as the communications chair of ESRAC. So I wanted to make that a special recognition among our participants here. And of course, my thanks to Kelly Kiva, who is the president of the Rotary Club of Social Entrepreneurs. So without further ado, let me go ahead and start this presentation. Let's see if this works. Technology is good when it works, they say, you know. So let's see if I can make this work. Can you see the presentation? All right. Okay, guys. Well, this is a debriefing, all right? Meaning that the Rotarians and Rotaractors that were at COP30, we counted on your support to be at COP30, and I will tell you how we did that. And this presentation we prepared a few days ago in order to cater to the curiosity of Rotarians around the world. And of course, starting with our SRAC board and the Rotary Foundation that have asked us, the Rotarians that were a COP30, to give some sort of debriefing of what we had done in the COP process recently in Brazil. So this presentation was prepared for the Rotary for a Club of Social Entrepreneurs, as we mentioned. And let me start by saying that COP30 was like Brazil. It was a very, very cherished, very diverse, a very happy time. It couldn't be any other way for any of the meetings that are being held in this country. We had not only a diversity of participation, we also had the warmth of the Amazon ecosystem around us. It was the first time that this COP came to Brazil. And it was an objective of the COP presidency and our host country to embrace all participants. And in that regard, it was very, very well done. We incorporated this effort in March of last year. Then President-elect Mario Cesar gave us the charge to organize the participation from the ground up. Very different than in other years, in which Rotary International had an official delegation, and of course the president, the chair of trustees, and Rotary leaders, senior leaders, came and took the stage and took the responsibility of representing Rotary as an observer organization. This time without an official Rotary representation because of a number of reasons, but then this team was already incorporated in March, and from March until November, we progressively organized a pavilion, sessions, briefs, press releases, and so forth. And we said, well, okay, well, we'll do it. Let's demonstrate to Rotary International, to all our fellows that we can get organized to participate in an event of a global reach, as it is the COP process. But the COP30 wasn't just an event, not for us, not for the world. This is part of a process. We keep telling our fellows and our senior leadership that participating in a COP is not just sending just observers write a report of what happened. It is a process in which we have to measure the pulse on how the important issues of climate change impact communities. Because after all, the communities are our clients, are our reason of being. We are a service organization. So from 1992 in Rotary, we have had the first the first time that the environment as a theme came to Rotary was precisely, and as a coincidence, by a Rotarian Brazilian president, a Brazilian Rotary International president, Paulo Viriato Correa da Costa. And with his Preserve Planet Earth initiative, in which it was an awakening for Rotary to this very important aspect of our causes that needed to be embraced if we had the ambition of serving the communities. Many years have passed, Rio plus 10, Rio plus 20, the millennial objectives, then the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. And in the middle of all that, all the multilateral environmental agreements were advancing in many negotiations with ups and downs. And in the case of climate change, this in 2015, when we had the Paris Agreement, it was by coincidence also the year that SREC was established. And, I don't believe in coincidences. I think these are, again, just a part of the kind of like maturing. Is a growing dynamics that we have in organizations, not only in people. People like Rotarians that are so critical thinkers, problem solvers. They realize also that these are important things to look at, even with some anticipation, rather than just reacting to what the community wants. We need to be prepared to serve and see what is going on. And we had the fortune of many presidents like Ian Risley that challenge all of us Rotarians to plant trees. But it's not only planting trees anywhere, it was planting trees wherever there would serve a purpose, like environmental restoration reasons or embellishment, making cities more beautiful for the enjoyment of the community. All these efforts in SREC was also accompanying, and Karen was there in those times. She can attest to this. And then from these years, 21, 24, there were delegations of COPs. We have Judith here. Judith was the chair at the time that she was the Dean of Representatives of Rotary at the United Nations. She was also chairing the COP committee. I don't know if it was exactly constituted by Rotary at the time, but in any case, for all purposes, she was also in charge of organizing a pavilion. We had a pavilion in Dubai in COP28, and we have tried to keep that Rotary participation as meaningful as possible in this process, to bring back to Rotary and report to you, like I'm doing today, why is it important for Rotarians to work in climate action in communities. So it gets us to 2025 in Belém, when we, SREG, decided to, at the board, decided to support this as an activity. And this pivotal moment, what we consider a pivotal moment in Belém for Rotary participation in the Framework Convention. So this brings us the reason why is a climate imperative, which is driving. I have this concept that we need to drive action. across Rotary score, meaning that the climate is not really an isolated theme within environmental sustainability. It actually goes and impacts all Rotary areas of focus: peace, disease, WASH, maternal child health, education, community development, and environment itself. And it also is something to look at for the polio eradication. We have many studies, scientific-based studies, in which we can attest that the climate is a driver, sometimes impacting driver on diseases, on epidemics, and so forth. And polio is an exception. So based on that concept, we wrote an ambition paper to make the case of integrating climate action throughout the Rotary's humanitarian ecosystem. And that is resulting in a strategy for SREC to leverage a continuity, innovation, and partnerships to build communities' resilience against climate threats. And these is paraphrasing the pillars or principles that President-elect Mario de Camargo gave us throughout the year that he was preparing for being president. So integrating climate action into Rotary is the concept in that paper, and is making the case that we have the proven capacity, since we have been involved in heading, we are a leader in the polio eradication along with Gates and Gavi and others. And the climate action is embedded on all of areas of focus, as I mentioned. And we would take the opportunity of COP30, which is 10 years after the Paris Agreement, and also 10 years of the SREC, chartering as a Rotary Action Group. So this paper is available. I have circulated it into the board, and many board members have already submitted and their comments, and they have been incorporated. And the key messages are that because of our unique humanitarian value and presence in the communities, we should adopt COP as a multi-year process and build, as I said, in those pillars of continuity, innovation, and partnerships. And something really important is to concentrate on youth. It's very, very important that we look at into the future as far as how Rotarians and Rotaractors are going to embrace this theme and bring it to Rotary. But also, this is about a wider concept, a wider objective, which is achieving climate justice and just transition, which is also, those are concepts that are in the roadmap documents that serve as the basis for organizing the agenda at the most recent COPs from Dubai up to now. There is a roadmap prepared by the three presidencies for the presidency of the COP28, 29, at 30, in order to bring just transition and climate justice. And these are also, by the way, concepts that are compatible with what we do in Rotary. So, as I mentioned, it's aligned with global climate initiatives, and a very interesting concept that was brought in COP30 is the need to have all the dynamics for collaboration among civil society organizations, the scientific community, and the parties themselves that are the ones that decide the bearing of the actions and the timeline in which those actions are converted into program and facilities in terms of finances and support for the parties, for the countries that have expressed their voluntary contributions, the so-called NDCs. So I mentioned the lessons of polio. I'm not, since we are among Rotarians here, I'm not going to spend so much time on this. And we have had, a continuity of the participation of Rotarians in COP. Rotaractors have been since the COP 26 with Shekhar Mehta until Baku with Stephanie Ershik, that actually she wasn't there, but our chair of trustees, Mark Maloney, was. And of course, Judith, after the presentation, like a word on Dubai for those of us that are here and might not be aware that we also had a significant presence in Dubai. But the important thing is that we designed this with a purpose. I mean, it was actually more work into preparing for being in Belém than the actual work that we did in Belém. In Belém, I'm an engineer and I like to plan things, and I had a timeline, and we met weekly, and we said, well, these are the kind of things that I propose that we should do. The committee came back with recommendations. Some of you were there, and these were 4 key concepts that we needed to achieve, that we were set up. This is what the community set up to achieve in Belém: to seek strategic networking and partnerships, to engage with the key climate funds, to promote local activation, and to increase our visibility and promotion as Rotarians working in climate action. So we met. Oh, by the way, that picture over there is with Alicia Bárcena. She is a known figure in the environment because she was the secretary of the Rio Conference in 1992. Maurice Strong was the president of the conference from Canada, and Alicia Bárcena was of the, by the way, Karen, it was called the Earth Network at the time. Alicia is currently the Secretary of Environment of Mexico. But, we have worked with her throughout the years. I personally had a very close professional contact with her because she was one of our key leaders in the Inter-American Dialogue on Water Management, which was the very first meeting at the regional level after the Rio Conference dealing directly with freshwater resources. What we did at COP30, well, we co-hosted a pavilion. We had an agreement with a number of partners, more remarkably with the Climate Change Coalition, of which IAAI GLOSIA, the Global Change for Advancement of Sciences, is a long name. Please, I ask for your forgiveness for not remembering the whole name. Evercity, which is a think tank on digital public infrastructure and digital innovation. And the theme of the pavilion was meeting digital innovation with humanitarian service. And we concentrated in those 4 elements: the empowerment of youth, and we had blue badges for Rotaractors and for Interactors. We had potential partnerships with climate funds discussions. We participated in sessions with the COP presidency discussing how we could do a worldwide collective mobilization through digital means. And we had also, for the first time, a Rotary International driven session in the COP process, in which, of course, this was something that Rotary International did for us. I asked them that we needed to get into the grid, and Rotary International staff helped us with that, and we supported that concept of bringing digital public infrastructure and how digital innovation will help climate action in communities. And we also had the incorporation or the launching of the Rotary Climate Action Club. So in the pavilion, we had breakout sessions. As I mentioned, we had an average of 5 or 6 sessions per day. Domenico even chairs some of those. And Rotarians and Rotary actors, we were all around participating in the Blue Zone and bringing back what was interesting. I have asked those that participated, the Rotarians and Rotaractors that participated in Belém, to write back to me with a small questionnaire to get their impressions on the sessions that they participated and answer this key question. How would that be implemented in a Rotary ecosystem? We had a lot of Rotarians, about 100 of them were in Belém, of which directly involved there were about 40. And guess what? Well, like in any institute, Rotary convention, you know, Rotarians went like a flock into restaurants, into sessions, and we had a very good time. We had the music. We had our peace fellow, Diego Carneiro, who is actually from Belém de Pará. He was born there, and he and her sister delighted us with a number of musical pieces that really lighted up our pavilion. And well, you know, we met with the Rotary, with the COP president. We had people from Nigeria, from India, from Italy, from Venezuela, from Brazil, from the United States, from Sri Lanka. I mean, it was really all over. We have a detailed list of the Rotarians that participated, and of course, a very nice highlight was the participation of our president-elect Mario Cesar Martins de Camargo, because it was actually without his backing and his inspiration, probably this participation would have not happened. And we wanted to make something clear in a single statement. 40 years ago, a Brazilian Rotary International president brought the environment into Rotary, and this time the president-elect of Rotary was bringing climate action into Rotary as a whole. So to celebrate all that, we launched the Rotary Climate Action Club, which is actually, it is incubated in a club, in my club, by the way, here in Brazil, but it has the objective of emancipate and become a global passport club. Integrate, charter by climate experts and climate stewards, Rotarians that care about climate and the environment. And as a matter of fact, we have a first activity at the UN Partnership Week that is happening this week in the New York City in UN headquarters. Miro Polser, who is already a member of my club. He has the mission. He and Sol Moran, who is another new Rotarian. She's helping us carrying this message at the UN Partnership Week. Of course, we put the Rotary lapel pin on from the hands of Mario in the pavilion, and this is the rotaryclimateaction.org is the website if you are interested in knowing. There is only very little information in there, and we are going to be putting more information after this week when Miro comes back from New York. We also, the second big thing was the strategic partnerships. So we had meetings with the climate funds, more specifically with the Green Climate Fund, Jeff, And we also had an approach with the adaptation fund, and we established already a set of meetings to follow up on what we converse in the roadmap that we are putting together in order to make a proposal for SRAG to also consider partnerships with the climate funds, but also to present to Rotary International, Rotary Foundation to see if they want to be participating in some sort of leverage of what we call the possibility of climate grants um, that are going to be mostly funded by those climate funds, but with the participation of the Rotary Foundation. That is a conversation. We are putting this forward. This might take some time. This might take, I don't know, months, years. It depends, how things in Rotary, the rhythm um, um, that they take in order to bring these opportunities and convert them into partnerships. We had also some sort of unexpected situations. The Digital Innovation Pavilion was 10 meters away from the fire that started in the Blue Zone in Belém. It was a very scary moment. And some of us, Mario and I, were visiting the Green Zone, but Miro and Salvador and were in the Blue Zone somewhere nearby, and of course they they were subject to all this real concerning moment. And if Salvador is here, can mention a little bit about this. In conclusion, we had we have these messages: is that climate action should be central to Rotary's mission in terms of the importance of climate change and the need to build to resilience and promoting adaptation and mitigation measures at the community level. We have SRAG as a demonstrated institutional anchor for COP process. We are looking into possible accreditation. This is a subject that is still very that is still not very clear, but we are documenting what other organizations are also very wide as Rotary, like World Wildlife Fund, Conservation International. Even the Gates Foundation have some spin-off initiatives in which they already have observer status in some of the UN conventions. It's not only climate change, but also biodiversity, the Convention of on POPs, on persistent organic pollutants. There are many opportunities in which the respective RAGs, where the Rotarians that have more affinity, technical affinity with the causes, can participate as accredited parties into these meetings. And the idea is to bring, along with Rotary International, this is not a competition, this is a complementary situation. We can provide much better information and pathways for Rotarians or Rotaractors to serve in the front line in the clubs and districts. So that gives us an opportunity to mobilize clubs worldwide about the concept of climate resilience. And one of the things, paraphrasing polio, the proposed Rotary's next gift after polio could be something like resilient communities in climate challenge world. And all this is compatible with our main motto of serving about ourselves. I use the plural because I think in these cases is millions of people that are cheering for polio, cheering for better communities in all the causes that we defend. In terms of what you contributed, and I take opportunity to thank all of you that contributed to financially to this effort. We did some fundraising. Thanks to Judith and Chris Potok, we could claim some funds that were at the Rotary Foundation from monies that were raised for COP28 in Dubai. But we also managed to raise an additional $10,000. And very importantly, we had a lot of volunteer work. I mean, the time, the airfares, many of us paid for our airfares and logistics to get there. The accommodations, some of us had to pay for ourselves, so we have helped the Rotaractors. But we had also some commitments that were negotiated. Like, for instance, the original negotiation to be part of the pavilion was in the order to $40,000 to $60,000. But we explained to our partners what's going on with our Rotary level of support for our participation in COP, and we could negotiate that in $20,000. But we also had some other expenditures. But essentially, we raised 32,000, and we had a budget of 32,000. We're still making the accounting of this, and it might be some resources that are left as seed money for COP31. But the important part is that all the spirit of collaboration. We had one club that acted as a fiscal agent, and we have subscribed partner agreements with both SREC and the Rotary Club of South Ukiah in California that help us receive the monies from those of you that contributed in the United States and other parts of the world. So what is the way forward? Well, reiterating our goal that we want to make the COP process very meaningful and high impact engagement, leading to measurable climate action in Rotary, in SREC, to build stronger partnerships and to enhance our global visibility. And this is the core concept that we're going to be talking with President-elect Jinka in the next few days. We are waiting for his agenda confirmation, and the next steps is to finalize our report to continue. And Judith, I need to talk to you about how we're going to put our latest versions of the blogs and so forth about COP30 in the SREC website. We are going to have a Zoom meeting for accountability and to present the results to the Rotary Foundation and to the SREC board sometime about February 20th. And as I said, we are waiting for President-elect Jinka to tell us at what time. And handover meeting with the COP31 in Turkey, our Rotarians in Turkey, some of which are very active in SREC. They have keen interest in knowing the details beyond what I'm explaining here, more like the hands-on experience on how we got to Belém, despite all the hurdles that we had. But the good thing is that yes, we had could do it with a string shoe, with a shoestring, so to speak. But we delivered the best we could, and all this was thanks to the effort of Judith, Domenico, Maria do Carmo in the background, some of you that were really, really helpful in making sure to give the enthusiasm for all of us that were in Belém. So if you need to get in touch with me, that is the contact information. We have a very, very I wish we had more social media exchange, but of course, there only were a few of us, and we were busy at COP30 seeing how we could bring all these needed concepts on climate change, climate action in communities back to SREC and back to Rotary. So that is my presentation, Domenico um, uh, and Karen, and we need to make sure that we continue in this. There has been a lot of effort by Rotarians since many COPs ago, and we hope that this continues in the COPs to come. Thank you very much for attention, and I will remain here to answer any questions and to, you know, to give tips what can be done with all what we did. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alberto, for your presentation and for rendering the great experience that was COP, despite, as you mentioned, also the fire at the end. It was part of the experience. And thank you also for reminding this concept, the fact that as Rotarian, we have to serve humanity, understanding also the challenges that humanity is facing in the current times, as we did with polio, as we can do and we have to do with climate change. So thank you very much for opening this way, and also for all the effort that together also with the other fellow colleagues has in a way you say led to the experience of Rotary at COP30. I will now see that there are already some raised hand. I want to give the floor to them. Before going that, if you allow me, I want first of all to greet our president, Kelly Kefe, that need to had the need to detach a little bit from the call for one moment, but at the same time I see connected. I want just to give the floor to her for a greet. Our founder and the first president of our club, Dr. Monica Grant. I don't know, Dr. Monica, if you want just to say a few remarks, if you are able to speak, and thank you for attending the call. Dr. Monica, are you there? Let me know if you are available for talking. Dr. Monica, to you the floor. Okay, maybe she cannot speak. Maybe we will come to hear later. I saw two raised hand. So one of Karin. Karin first. Okay, please go. Floor is
Thank you.
yours.
Thank you, Domenico. Alberto, great job. Excellent job. And I love your background. I love that the background for your Zoom. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Um, so I didn't know anything about this Rotary Climate Action Club. So did that just come out of COP? Did you just,
Yes,
okay,
yes, it was. Well, of course, there were
cool.
already talks about it. Okay, and
Yeah,
actually, this was an idea of Domenico, Miroslav, and some other climate experts that
yeah,
are, of course, Domenico's already a Rotarian, but the others are not. So
yeah,
one of the cool things about this climate club is that it's mostly made of new Rotarians,
yes.
and
Ours is
couple
too.
of
Ours is
dual
too. Yeah,
couple
yeah,
of dual membership Rotaractors.
yes.
Couple of
That's
Rotaractors
what
say, no, I also want to make my entrance into Rotary, my transition to Rotary through this.
excellent.
One of them is Gustavo Ribeiro from Brazil. He was there. You know, Domenico and Gustavo were all around, you know, going into the sessions and so forth. And we had I don't know, 8 to 10 Rotaractors Some of
Nice.
them, by the way, that is not counting the COP simulation. I forgot to mention the COP simulation in my presentation, but the British University of Cairo also carry out a COP simulation, and that program is not a Rotary activity, but it's managed and carried out by Rotarians and
Neat.
in Egypt. And this was the connection with the youth and this new movement on climate action. And this is very good. It's like pretty much like the club that I believe that you are chartering now, that has a very let's say define work to a central idea to
It
work on
does.
the thematic
Yep.
clubs,
Yep.
as
Yeah.
we noted. Yes.
Ours is mostly about inspiration and networking. But so Judith asked, is the club an e-club? I was wondering that same thing. I guess if you're going to be global, you'll probably be an e-club. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it is an e-club,
Okay.
but it has two required meetings in person.
Oh,
One
okay.
is at
Okay.
the COP,
That's good.
and
That's
the
good.
other one is to be determined. And
That's
probably
cool.
our very first meeting. And by the way, I am the president-elect of my club. They gave me that you know that
Yeah.
water bucket again. And I'm going to exercise my one of my first acts of president is to participate in the satellite, because it starts as a satellite of my club
Okay.
in
Okay.
Bonn, in the Bonn Climate Week.
Nice. But you assume it's going to go, hopefully satellite, it'll probably go to an individual,
We already
uh,
have, see, that's one
or
of the
you're not
things I
sure.
wanted to share with you, and probably
Mm,
Maria do Carmo can help me with this, but it is a convenience to be a satellite club. The reason being is because they can concentrate on their climate action stuff in
yeah.
projects,
Yeah.
while the sponsor club does all the administrative. And this is
Yeah.
the pretty much the concept that we are driving in our club here in Brasilia. We have a core club, and we are chartering satellites.
Nice.
Kaká can mention a little bit about that.
Nice.
But the idea is that the finances under the secretary of the club can do all the day-to-day work, and they
Yeah.
concentrate in what is fun, which is
Yeah,
coming
we
up
didn't
with
have that
projects on this.
option. We didn't have that option, but that's a great idea. And I like that you're saying it's complementary and collaboration. I like those two words that you used. And so you're working with that club will be working with SREG and promoting
Well,
SREG.
guess what? That's another thing. In order to be part of that club, when you are signing in for that club, you're in your monthly dues. There is the SREC dues,
Hmm.
so they automatically it becomes an eco club, as we call
Okay.
it in
Yeah, there's a
in
lot of
SREC.
eco clubs, but yeah, there's a lot of us out there.
But the
But
idea is to
it's
maintain
good to
that
hear about
connection.
one more. Yep, good to hear about one more. Thank you, Alberto.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karen. I see Kaka with the raised hand, so the floor is yours. And in the meanwhile, also the other colleagues, if you have questions or comments, you want to intervene into the discussion, please feel free raising your hand.
Hello, everyone. I'm very glad to be here today. I usually hear you when Albert is in the meetings, but today I decided to join the meeting. My question to Alberto is about PENUMA, the community community action for fresh water, né? There is already this program in Rotary, this connection with United Nations Environment. So when I entered there, I saw they have a map, global map, where any club, anyone can put a pin with the project related to community action for fresh water. I ask you if after COP30, if the group has the intention to do something similar, and if water action can be included in climate action, because there is a strong relationship between climate and water management. So tell us about these two things, how they are going to work together, please.
Thank you, Kaka, for that question. Actually, Salvador was supposed to be here and talk about that, about community action for fresh water. So thank you for bringing in. I'm going to fill in since I am also in the technical advisor group of the community action for fresh water. And yes, we in the partnership with the UNEP, we have one of our first, let's say, task is to encourage clubs, Rotary clubs and Rotary clubs around the world to tell us what are the things that they are doing for the improvement of water resources in their communities. You know, as translated, you know, we reversed the question. And the way that we thought it was very cool to do is to put a pin in the map. And in that way, then we can make the inference in what watershed, what basin that action is. And perhaps with the assistance of the cadre, WASHRAC, and SRAC, and even RACSET, which is the one on Community and Economic Development, Rotary Action Group, we can come together and do a kind of like a secondary analysis using the space, using the basin as a planning management unit of this important, vital element of nature. So this is something that we are conversing in the technical advisory group with Nikki Clayton, our environment area of focus manager in Rotary, in order to see if we can take advantage of the fact that in this UNEP Rotary partnership, we can also do the same thing for climate projects. Of course, the very first thing that we need to do, as we did for, I don't know, since 1992, the Rio Conference, is to educate, to bring awareness to people about the concept of a basin, about the concept of a river, of a gallery forest, all these things. We'll have to do that work also for climate. See, this is something we have our job security guaranteed as Rotarians by talking about climate. And I believe that if we start, we need to start. I don't know when it's going to end. It's like polio. We have been 40 years in polio. We're still working on the last mile. I came up with the concept of the last mile to bring digital innovation for climate change that I made the case, and this is something that was picked up by the COP presidency, by the way, and this is a contribution from the Rotary experience, is that unless the community is involved, we can develop all the tools, we can develop all the vaccination strategies, that if the community doesn't come and actually uses it, and in the case of polio, vaccinate the kids, and in the case of communities, use the mechanism for measuring, verifying, and do the reporting, we're not going to be able to see how the climate action is progressing in the COP, in the multilateral agreement, environmental agreement. So in a way, the answer is yes. We are piggybacking on the UNEP Rotary. At least we're making the attempt. I don't know if the Rotary international, and UNEP will accept it. Okay, we'll see, but we'll make the case that we shouldn't be working on silos, and that this is already paid by Rotarians on one side and by UN on the other. It's a no-brainer. Should be going forward. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alberto. I don't know if there are other questions or comments for Alberto. In the meanwhile, I'm very happy that Salvador at the end has joined us. So thank you. Thank you very much, Salvador. In a few, I will give you the floor. In the meanwhile, again, I will ask if there are questions for Alberto. Even though Alberto, maybe we can have an interaction also later after the talk of Salvador. I'm very pleased and honored to have also another fellow of the delegation of Rotary during COP30 is Salvador Rico of Rotary Club of South Yucca. As we said, he's member of the Community Action for Freshwater, technical advisor and District International Service Chair. So, Salvador, the floor is yours. I know that you are like going to take a plane, so I will give you the floor suddenly, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm actually preparing to travel to Senegal to the pre-water conference, the UN pre-water conference. This is a water conference that is going to be hosted in Abu Dhabi in December, and the countries of Senegal and UAE have partnered to be able to host it. So, our work, as Alberto has mentioned, our work never stops. We have to continue to seek opportunities and to seek what is it as Rotarians we are able to bring down to our clubs, to our fellow Rotarians that are doing efforts, putting efforts into climate change and to environmental restoration efforts. So, to me, what I learned, what I observed, and my impression from COP30, it is that there's a lot of preparations for the catastrophe. There's a lot of preparations that talks about securing funding for when the time comes where what they need to help mobilize populations from flooded areas. There's already talks about what is coming. And it's almost like if you're in a ship, it's preparing to the crash, okay? Put your life jacket because we may be going on the water. So those are the talks that I continuously was hearing while I was around walking on the different booths in the different pavilions in COP30. To me, I'm still a believer that we can avoid the crash, we can avoid a collision, and I agree with what Roberto says. And we need to mobilize everyone, and that is empowering 8 billion people for every single one of them to do something, because we cannot do it alone. And this is not just about doing an alliance or a partnership with an organization, with a foundation. No, this is about empowering every single human being in the planet to be able to do this. I don't know if I've lost connection. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna just pull over in an area where I'm able a little bit safer. Hold on.
We're seeing you. We're seeing
you
in movement. We're seeing you. Now you can leave your camera on. We can see you.
Okay. Yeah. Just give me 1 second, please. Give me 1 second. Okay. I also need to mute my cell phone so nobody interrupts it. Okay. So again, I want to reiterate that it's extremely important to empower everyone. And just as Alberto mentioned about the polio eradication vaccination, if the people don't take it, they're going to be sick. They're going to be affected. And in a personal experience in my hometown, my classmates, one of their one family was not allowed by their grandpa to take the vaccination the polio vaccination, and 4 kids out of 10 got polio. So that is, an example that can replicate into the world of environment. How many people still don't believe about climate change, and they are still affecting many of them, many other people about not taking action. So this is where it is very important about awareness, education, empowerment, and continuous putting the climate change vaccination into people's minds. So our work is not going to end until we're gone from this planet. So it's going to continue. So we need to empower others, and continue to spread the word, continue to do the efforts, and lead by example. Okay, that is the only thing I can tell you. In this year, through the years, I have sponsored so many environment projects all over the place in different countries, and this year came around after COP30. I decided that this year I'm going to actually hold back into sponsoring projects, not because I don't believe in it, but because I'm going to leverage it. Meaning is the trip I'm doing to Senegal, to the water conference, I'm paying out of pocket. And from that, it's going to leverage more stuff. With that, I'm going to bring in the knowledge that I get there, and I'm going to share with all of you. That way I can empower more people. When I get back, I have a presentation to Rotaractors from Honduras and in that district as well. So my goal is to continue to empower others, because it's very important that we spread the knowledge. And if you think about climate change, well, we lose water, we lose vegetation, climate change gets worse. The biodiversity is extremely important. We have coral reefs that are affected, mangroves that are affected, the rivers are polluted, all the pollution kills vegetation, kills biodiversity. So everything is interconnected one way or another. So again, my goal is in this year is to find solutions, to connect with those experts and connect those experts with Rotarians around the globe. In Brazil, one highlight um, that came up also from those meetings is how many organizations are trying to bring the funding to bring it down to the ground, meaning to indigenous communities, for example. The World Bank was talking about how many, 250 million dollars that are being allocated for helping indigenous communities around the globe on climate restoration. And in the Italian pavilion, a presentation was given by scientists from Brazil, talk about the damage that is being done on the Amazon, and mostly from one particular road that goes across the entire country. I do not know the number of that road, but it goes. They were saying about the trucking industry affecting with the soot, the black smoke that comes out of the diesel trucks, fall into the vegetation on the Amazon, and killing the vegetation around it. They were talking about the fact that they've been trying to make lawsuits to the trucking industry, put citations, fines, etc., but it's not working because they've had in Brazil an emissions program for I don't know how many years, 3 to 5 years, but the trucking industry is not compliant, and they were looking into more lawsuits. And I raised my hand. I said, "Hey, can I make a suggestion on that?" I said, in Rotary, we'll have a 4-way test in which we have to make sure that benefits everyone, and that we're trying to make friendships with everyone. Rather than make enemies, we try to form alliances. I said, I just came out of this presentation from the World Bank when they're talking about allocating funding for climate restoration. I said, why don't you speak to your government, speak to the World Bank, speak to the trucking industry, speak to the factories of the trucks, and install a new program to replace those old trucks with new ones, in which the emissions will be lowered, and the reliability of the trucks will improve. The trucking industry will gain more money. All of the people that benefit from the trucking industry is going to benefit. The Amazon is going to be restoring itself because the vegetation is going to be healed. and then climate change is going to be improved. Everybody wins. They said that they were going to invite me to one of their meetings in the next coming months, because they were to continue to work with an agency in the United States about the emissions program from Brazil. And what I learned is that Brazil came out of COP31 with a commitment that the trucking industry should decrease by 2030 on the emissions, should decrease by 50%. And by 2040, they want the trucking industry to be net zero. That's a huge thing. And that's the things that if we are not there at the COPs, if we're not there, we're not going to know about it. If we're not there, we're not able to have those small conversations, those side conversations. So, for me, it's important that we as Rotarians continue to do what we can into empowering others, to share with others the four-way test, for us to follow the four-way test by example, leading by example, and encouraging other groups to connect with Rotarians. One other thing that came out from that particular presentation in the Italian Pavilion is the pollution of mercury on the Amazon River itself, and how it's affecting all the vegetation as well. Because when there's floods, mercury goes along and lands on the vegetation, and eventually dries them up, making them more prone to fires. At the same time, it affects all the communities that live on the Amazon. And scientists were talking about that government is a little too late on reacting after there's a pollution found a pollution on the Amazon, because they go in after the fact a little too late. And many times people are already sick. So it's a reaction kind of situation. And they mentioned about one of the scientists develop a system where they can use their own cell phone and a small device to take a test of the water, and with a cell phone able to tell whether you have what kind of metals you have in the water, whether it's mercury, lead, etc. But that particular kit cost about $50. And I raised my hand again. And I said, do you know what? This particular kit could be sponsored by Rotary Clubs in Brazil. So my recommendation is connect with all the Rotary Clubs in the area, share a presentation with them, and ask them to sponsor your project, because it's an easy one. And here's my contact information. Anything I can help you with, I can sponsor, 10 kids if you want to. So again, this is what we as Rotarians can actually do without having to involve the big organization that is Rotary International. That's a totally different ball game. I agree about cooperations and agreements and MOUs, etc. But if I have a lower hanging fruit on the tree, I'm going to grab it, and that is the conversations that we can do. The rest of the stuff he can develop, and it takes time to develop an MOU. The Community Action for Freshwater Agreement that we have, the initiative we have with UNEP, started in 2018 and became official in 2024, January 24. He was signed in December or November 23. So it took 5 years. Yes, we have an example. It's something that it can be followed along. It takes a while for all the attorneys to actually come into an agreement and make everything done. But in the meantime, let's not stop. We can do the small things, and those small things actually can become a ripple effect. So that's kind of what I got from COP30, and whatever I learn in the water conference Monday and Tuesday, when I get back, give me a chance to recuperate from the jet lag. I can go give a report the following week.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Salvador. And really, congratulations for the job that you are doing, and also safe travel. And really, let's bring the honor of Rotary and on our team on your mission. We really appreciate what you're doing, and also you are inspiration for all of us. So, thank you very much, Salvador. And thank you also for reminding us that is a common mission. Have a nice travel. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye bye. That is our common mission. I
Too
see.
bad that Salvador left, but I wanted to compliment something that he said, about the ripple effect and what he commented about and Kaka also mentioned about the local action. It's all about that. See, we Rotarians, we are kind of like we are the only organization that has this type of capillarity. That is something that Mario keeps saying, that the Gates Foundation is not tagging with us just out of the goodness of their heart. It's because we are bringing something to the table, which is more than 50,000 clubs worldwide. So we are in 50,000 communities. And I made, now when Kaka mentioned the mapping of actions, if you map all the Rotary club, Rotaractor, and Rotaract clubs around the world, put it in a map, you will see that, and then you put a color map of density of population. If you take out China, there is a Rotary Club near 85% of humanity. Less than 100 kilometers of humanity, of all humanity. As no other organization can make that claim. And we need to make sure that we also understand that level of responsibility. When we are already tackling all these world challenges, we need to go to the nitty-gritty to see how we can help a community to do that. When Salvador was mentioning the net zero trucking initiative, I think that is catchy. Okay, the net zero trucking. One of the things that we do, I don't know in other countries, but here in Brazil, about 50% of the truckers are independent. Imagine truckers being approached by Rotary clubs with this claim. Hey, if you do that, we give you brownie points and we put the name of your trucking company next to the local Rotary club in order to get recognition in your community. What you need to do is to make sure that you have your catalytic converter, a legal catalytic converter, and that you are doing whatever is at your reach in order to curb emissions. Yes, by 2040, we might have the net zero. If we don't have the net zero, it's a net zero compensation because we can help them offset this with, tree farming or what have you. Okay, the name of the game is accounting, guys. I'm sorry for being so pragmatic, but the name of the game is accounting for emissions and accounting for ways to curb those emissions. And I have good news, so bad that Salvador left, because I make a living out of that. See, I do design projects for Jeff, for GCF. What do you think? You think that I just invented this? Oh, Alberto had this crazy idea of having a partnership with the climate funds. You know what? The CEO of Jeff, Karen, you should listen to this one. The CEO of Jeff, of the Global Environment Facility, last year in COP29, he saw me. Well, of course, we have met in other meetings. He was my former board member in the Inter-American Water Resources Network. And he's now the Jeff CEO. And 5 minutes before that, okay, and this meeting is being recorded, and I will show it to Mike Maloney. Because when we were at COP29, Mike Maloney told me, right in the middle of the first meeting we had, and he was looking everything that was going around, saying, Alberto, I don't know what we're doing here. This is so complex. There are so many talks at the same time. All the pavilions have sessions. All the COP parties are discussing things. There are general discussions. There are all this. And say, well, welcome to the complex world. That was my first answer. The second answer, and right after he was saying this, and I was explaining to him, yes, guess what? We have been 29 years, this was last year, doing this, and there is a lot to be done still. And organizations like Rotary need to understand this complexity in order to contribute appropriately. And Rotary leadership needs to know that. It's not only about, polio and all about the things that we have a grasp. We need to we have to have some humility and understand that Rotary needs to be prepared in order to cater to the community needs in this complex world, and climate change is part of that. Right after I was saying that, appears the Jeff CEO into the booth, into their pavilion where we were having that session, and I say, "Hi, Alberto," and I say, "Chair Maloney, this is the Global Environment Facility CEO, Carlos Manuel Rodriguez." Oh, nice to meet you. Say, and the first thing that the Jeff CEO says, I am so delighted to see Rotary here at the COP.
That's wonderful,
that.
Alberto. That's wonderful.
He said that. And
That's
Mike,
yeah,
and Mike
great.
Maloney was, okay, well, why is that? And then I explained it to him. Hey,
Yeah.
the reason why is because of what Mario was still the president nominee, elect at the time, told the story about the Gates Foundation, that that the CEO of the Gates Foundation, a woman, I don't remember her name, told Mario, the reason why we are in this partnership with Rotary is because that you can deliver, because you are present at the communities, and this is what this is in our model. Remember that these are guys that come from Microsoft. These are not just somebody that came from politics, or no. These are systems people. Told our president, we need to have Rotary in order to carry on the eradication of polio and any other diseases.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
Domenico, is it okay if I ask a question? Sorry.
Yes, okay, please go ahead.
Do you think that SRAG, okay, I know this is controversial stuff, but did you think that SRAG didn't support as much, or Rotary didn't support going to COP because they feel as though it's not making a lot of difference? I know that in the world, and there are people dropping out and blah, blah, blah. I know that SRAG members, Salvador and the folks that have, like you, that have made the effort to go to COP, have done so because of that networking that you talk about.
I don't have.
And
I don't have a problem.
I am a one person.
I don't have a problem to express my view and my opinion on this after discussing this with some senior leadership.
Right. Okay.
I
don't mean to get you in trouble or anything.
No, it's no trouble, because I tell John Hugh, quite called by the first name, okay? Because he is my collaborator. He's my CEO, right? I pay his salary. You pay his salary.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, true.
I go and tell him, hey, John, we, the volunteers, we need your position on this. Yeah. And when I asked him, it's not that, we don't have the budget. I say, wait, no, that's not an excuse. We pay $102 million per year. And you have a budget to cater to the Rotarians and Rotaractors.
Right. We
Senior
need to hear from all of us.
Senior leaders supposedly are representing us.
And do you think, okay, here's a worse question. Do you think it's the political stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's not the political
But
external.
it's so frustrating because there's so many of us.
No.
Okay,
See,
go ahead.
that's the beauty of understanding systems, okay?
Yeah.
And system dynamics, dynamics, and communities are dynamic. Rotary is very dynamic.
It is.
Okay, so I think that in a way, we are all good people. I'm not. This is not good people, bad people. No. Please, we are all for the 4-week test, so we need to assume that everybody is a good fellow, and that we mean to help each other. Okay, at the personal level, Karen, if I see you, hey, come on, what is that you need to do? And you ask me, okay, I help you. Fine, I think with our senior leaders, it's the same thing. But there's one real truth is not understanding fully what this means. Okay, and this is not when you don't understand and you get your information from the social networks, you are running a terrible risk because you are consulting an unverified source. This is like a journalist making a front page without checking his sources. Same thing with Rotary. What are the things that are important to the world? Well, we just need to listen to Davos. We need to listen to the multilateral environmental agreements. We need to listen to the Security Council of the UN, even though they are with a credibility issue right now. All these things, but we need to test, to observe and test the resilience of the issues. Okay, when you do that, then you see what is the things in which you can help the most. I think we Rotarians need to make sure that we are not falling into what is easy to do in order to massage our egos as community leaders.
Domenico probably wants. We need to get off. Yeah, you had another meeting starting.
We are going to conclude. Yes.
Okay.
We can continue this conversation.
We can, Alberto.
Just to finish with this, Domenico.
Thank you.
Just to finish with this is because Rotary needs to understand the complexity of the world and be prepared, like Salvador said. I'm going to quote him. That we don't only need to be prepared for after the disaster, after the plane crashes. We need to prevent the plane to crash, and we need to that in communities, and that only Rotary and Lions and so Optimists. That's our job.
It is.
We need to understand.
Yeah.
Good point to end it.
Thank you. Let's go to closure, of course. Thank you very much, Karen. It's been a pleasure. I also welcome Maria Julia. Unfortunately, Maria Julia, we are on closure, but you are very welcome also to stay this last moment with us. Just want to recall one thing that I think is important that Alberto said about the importance also of consider, even in a period of lack of credibility, international institution and multilateralism, like climate multilateralism. Peace is also passing through that, okay? Because tell me please another place where all the countries in the world are sitting together, even discussing with different opinion, but for a common problem, okay? That's a beginning of peace. So is also one topic that Rotary, of course, is caring so much, and that's why, moreover, is a motivation more to like believe and to understand the complexity as Alberto was saying. Okay. The multiple crises that we are facing are also connected in a way that we need to face all together because it's complex, I think. I'm going to
Thank you very
close.
much for the invitation, Domenico. It is always very rewarding to discuss with very intelligent Rotarians that come to your meetings, and we look forward to the next opportunity.
Thank you very much to you, Alberto, for accepting the invitation for such beautiful session. Let's now close. I want also to thank our president, Kelly Kefe, that accepted also the proposal to arrange this meeting. All the Rotarians that attended, like Dr. Monica Grant and the attendees of the Rotary Club for Social Entrepreneurs and the Rotary Club for Climate Action, the newborn that is like a baby that we have to bring to grow and to success. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.